share her unique and awesome creative business with you, but more than that, also her testimony. So Amy's going to come right now and just kind of tell you the story of how, part of how she got here today. So welcome, Amy.
Do this really tall. Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming. I am really excited to be here, and I just really appreciate you taking your Saturday. I have been dreaming about this moment for weeks, and it's already going much better than my dreams because I was in my underwear always. I'm already hitting well. In 2015, I lost my voice. I lost my job, and I almost lost my life. But it was through these losses that God helped me find my calling. I want to share this story with you because it was through this chain of events that I started to actively and consciously create again. Now, I have always been creative ever since I was little. I loved writing poems and dancing and singing, and actually became a professional artist at a very young age by making money selling painted rocks to my friends and neighbors. So, just saying. So after college, I became an interior decorator, and I loved it and really felt just like this was what I was meant to do. And I loved playing with the colors and the patterns and the shapes, and I really loved spending other people's money. So I really thought I would always be doing that. But when the recession hit and the market crashed, my business started to really suffer, and I decided that I needed to get a real job with health insurance and a steady paycheck and benefits. So I went to work for a medical company. So over the years, I moved up in ranks, and my job became very important to me. I did not have the time or the energy or even the desire to create. It felt like my creativity just was totally and utterly lost. And we didn't have GPS back then, so I'm not surprised. But I was constantly anxious and depressed, and I began having health problems. See, my entire identity was wrapped up around my job, and I was a slave to it. Well, my health problems progressed, which led me to have the MRI, which discovered I had an aortic aneurysm. So within 2 weeks of that MRI, I was on the operating table having open heart surgery. The surgery was difficult, but successful. I'm standing here. But when I woke up from the surgery, I couldn't talk. After several days and testing, they determined that my left cord had been totally paralyzed during the surgery, and there was little to no chance it would ever recover. I was completely devastated. Although my body was slowly healing from the open heart surgery, I was consumed with grief over the loss of my voice. I felt like my life had been saved only to be totally destroyed. I was able to whisper with strain, but my voice had no volume, so I could not be heard in groups of friends, restaurants, in stores, in the car, on the phone. I couldn't sing any longer. Now, I never could sing, but still. I tried to return to work, but straining to whisper all day left me extremely fatigued, and I ended up getting infection and virus after virus, and eventually ended up getting ulcers on my vocal cords. The company that once praised me as being so valuable and now saw me as a burden. And I received an email one day that I had been terminated. So during this time, I just felt like I was being stripped down emotionally, layer by layer. I had lost my persona as an outgoing, fun person. I'd lost my ability to socialize, and I'd lost my independence. I was being forced to confront my beliefs about who I was, about who God was, and about what that meant to my life. I remember one day specifically sitting on the beach and having a very loud conversation with God in my head. And the conversation was always the same. God, will I ever get my voice back? And why? Why did you let this happen? And God, what on earth am I supposed to do now with my life? And I was distraught, and I was frustrated, and I was angry at my situation and at God. As I sat there in silence, God started to speak to me. He said, Amy, do you believe that I could give you your voice back right now if I wanted to? And I said, yeah, I do, so come on, let's bring it. And then God said, Amy, do you believe that I love you and have a plan for your life? And I said, yes, God, I believe you have a plan for my life. And then he said, Amy, I know you don't understand, but I'm asking you to trust me. I could give you your voice back right now, but I have a plan for you, and this is part of it. So if giving you your voice back right now is not my plan for you, do you still want it? I was shocked by that question, but more shocked by my answer, because what I wanted to say was, yeah, give it back, that's fine, you'll work out my plan, I'm not worried about it, like, let's create a miracle right now. But I couldn't say that. I felt like I was on Let's Make a Deal, and God was showing me, asking me if I wanted what was behind curtain number 2. And I did. I wanted that. So I know I stand before you talking right now, but it's not because he gave me my voice back that day. I had a long path ahead, but God had given me this incredible peace that day and assurance that I could trust him, but that I needed to be patient. So out of desperation to feel better, I started doing art again. And I actually felt like something inside of me had switched back on, and I was plugged into my Creator. He was speaking words of strength and trust and courage into my heart. And I would literally wake up in the morning with these pictures and verses and words swirling in my head, to the point where I would get out of my bed in my pajamas, go to my table, and feverishly create. My family thought it was a little weird when they came home at the end of the day and I was still in my pajamas, but they were very supportive, and they saw this new spark and this new light inside of me. I remember making my bed one morning, which was kind of different for me to even be making my bed, alone getting dressed, but so that's why I remember so well. So this was after I lost my job, and having another conversation with God, saying, okay, so I've got no job, I've got no health insurance, I have no income, and I have no way to get another job without a voice. Like, God, I can't believe this is my new life. And suddenly I heard God say, yes, I know. I saved you from the It was at that moment that I realized how much I'd changed. And if I hadn't lost my voice, I would have gone back to that job, back to the stress. My creativity would have gone back to sleep. And I, like the Israelites, would have returned to Egypt. I had found a new way to express myself, as well as heal my heart. I was healing both physically and emotionally, but especially spiritually. I wasn't experiencing restoration. I was experiencing renewal. So my walls became very full of art, and my husband would say, as he walked around all the art, so what are we going to do with all of this? So I started giving it to my friends, and they liked it, and they thought it was wonderful. But my excitement about this newfound creativity intrigued them, and they started asking me to teach them how to do it too. So I did, a few friends at a time, and then one day my church asked if I would teach this to Our Lady's Bible study. So with the assistance of a friend who communicated for me, I did my first art collage party. And I called it a party because it really wasn't a class, it was a celebration. I gave everyone instructions and materials and encouragement to create. And after the party, I was so moved because person after person came up to me and said, oh my gosh, I've never been created. I don't have a creative bone in my body, but look what I made. I love it. I knew that God was calling me to share this talent. I didn't know how he was going to do it without me having a voice, but I knew that God would find a way, and this was my new mission. In December 2015, I went in for my final surgery. I had tried 2 previous surgeries, and they were both a total failure. It didn't work at all. And I knew this was the last and final attempt to restore my voice, and if it didn't work, I would never be able to talk again. So I know I'm keeping you in suspense, but I've kept you in suspense long enough. It worked! It had been a year of struggle and heartache and trials, but God had taken that time to change me miraculously. I believe when we take time to actively and consciously create, that we are plugging into our Creator and allowing him to ignite our spirit. I was created by God, who gave me the ability to create. He chose me to share my story with others, and he called me to provide others with the opportunity and encouragement to do the same. And we all have our own stories, and we all have our own purpose in life. So my prayer to each one of you is that you find a way to create. God has chosen you for a purpose, and I pray that you would find whatever it is he's calling